2. Joining us now is Eric DeVuyst, ag economist here at Oklahoma State University. Eric, over the years we've seen a $6 to $8 premium on OQBN cattle. Is that holding up this year?
You know, that's holding up real well. In fact, we're seeing premiums higher than that this year, although we've only had 3 sales and a couple of them were smaller sales. We're seeing real strong premiums, particularly for the 4 weights and into the 5 weights, and most of the sales are holding up pretty good in the 6 and 7 weights.
Okay. This year we've had a number of new sale barns come on. Cherokee's one of those. How are those affecting things?
Well, you know, when a new sale barn starts out, they really need to build numbers. If you think about this from the perspective of a buyer, they want to be able to take a pot load or pot loads of cattle either out to wheat on those smaller calves or to a feedlot on those bigger calves. And if they're going to buy a pot load of cattle, they want them to be homogeneous. If they're doing value-added cattle, they want a load of value-added cattle. Otherwise, they're just going to have to treat them the same anyways. And so it can take time for those to build up. Even so, we're seeing pretty good premiums at those barns. One thing that producers don't take into consideration, sometimes they'll complain that, you know, on my heavyweight cattle, I might have got $4, $5 premium over another heavier calf. But they have to consider the value of weight gain. The OQBN program requires a 45-day preconditioning period. And so when we're comparing, say, a 7-weight calf that's OQBN, the baseline is a 625-pound calf that was late weaned and came straight to the sale barn. And so when you add on the value of added gain, the profit is still there.
All right. So for producers going forward, looking at the program possibly for next year, do we expect these numbers to hold up? Do we expect the program to stay in coming years at these levels?
Well, right now we're seeing premiums that are significantly higher than the past couple, 3 years. And it just makes sense. If you're going to insure a $400,000 house, you're going to pay more to insure that than a $300,000 house. Well, it's the same thing here with these cattle. We sold some calves this last week for $250 a hundredweight. That calf has more downside risk if it gets sick or dies than a calf that sells for $150. And so what we're seeing is that the buyers are willing to spend a little more money for that insurance. It'll be a few years, if you listen to my colleague Darrell Peel, it's going to be a few years before these prices settle back down because the cattle supplies are so tight. So I would expect the premiums to hold up pretty good for the next couple of years.
All right. Good information, as always. Eric DeVuyst, ag economist here at Oklahoma State University.